Hello, everyone. Hey, how you doing? Sarah!
Hey, Don.
Hi, Sarah. How are you? Hi, everybody. Welcome. So here we are. So it's anybody that's watching on other platforms, you're welcome to come over here to Zoom where we can be a little more interactive. Brandon, our super technician, will put that information in your chat, your respective chats, and you're welcome to come over here so I can see you, and you can yell at me in between songs and like that. um, if you're, no matter where you're at, if you can share this on Facebook, that's how most people see it. And I'm taking requests. Anybody who wants to hear anything, it's because it's the last one I'm doing this year, uh, um, so I'll play whatever you want. So I'm gonna start with a couple, at least one request here that my friend from Chicago, Kevin, asked me to do, and then we'll go from there. But thanks for coming, and thanks uh, for everything. Here we go. It's called Woodstock Memories. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock back in 1969. She keeps her ticket stub and a chunk of mud at her house in a little shrine. She was always the girl in the hippie dress twirling at the shows by the Grateful Dead. If you ask her about it, man, you better sit down. Grandma will talk the ears right off your head. If you get her talking about the Grateful Dead, Summer of Love or the Kool-Aid acid test. Jenny was always in the glory when she could hear the stories from her grandma's hippie friends about peace and love, taking care of one another, how great it all was back then. And at night she would dream of being on the bus with Keezy, seeing Jimmy in 69. But when she wasn't dreaming, she always had the feeling that somehow she'd been born in the wrong time. She should have been 20 in 1969. Oh, the gray-haired hippies say that all the time. But the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, man, they're having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute every night living in it, it's never coming back again. Love you, Grandma. Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. It's gonna take a big leap of faith if you really want to find your tribe. Those were the first words that Jenny heard in a song that she found online. And that summer she drove all the way to Minnesota to the Shangri-La Festival. And there they all were, all the people like her who grew up believing that they were all alone. They said, hey girl, welcome home. Because the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are driving down the road all the way to Minnesota, having all kinds of fun singing. Jimmy and Jerry are dead and buried and they're never coming back again. Love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. Jenny's grandma went to Woodstock in 1969, and since then she believed there was never going to be a better time, and that's alright. But if you don't take your big leap of faith and get out there and find your scene, it will pass you by while you are trying to find your grandma's long gone Woodstock memories. Her Woodstock memories. While the cool grandchildren of the cool young women who danced in the Woodstock mud are living on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, man, they're having all kinds of fun singing. There's only 1 minute every night living in it, it's never coming back again. Love you, Grandma, but Baba Ram Dass never said, be there then. Ta-da! The crowd is going wild. That's right. Look at you here. Hello, Michael. Michael Hagney. Nice to see you, buddy. Thank you for coming to the concert and at the Bull Run and for everything. Appreciate you. All right. So here I was talking earlier before we went live about all my friends in Detroit. I never knew where Michigan was, honestly. I didn't know anything about it, but just like everything in my career, I became, a bunch of things happened for me without me knowing about it, without me having a plan, without, I didn't even, it's too much to explain, but I had a song on a compilation, and I had forgotten about the compilation. It was 3 or 4 years old. Then all of a sudden, in my inbox, I started selling CDs to Michigan by the hundreds. Hundreds of CDs. I didn't even know I didn't even know where Michigan was. I thought it was near Montana. I thought they put all the M states together. I didn't know anything. And so somebody had started playing it. Carrie Carlson, her name is, and she started playing on a commercial station. My song was called Rascal. The song was called Rascal, and it became like a hit. I had a hit in a place I didn't know where it was or how it got there, and I forgot about the record that the song was on. That's if you're looking for a business plan. There's one for you. Just like dumb luck. And so, but I've been going there since 1999, minimum of twice a year, and sometimes as many as 5 times a year. And some of the deepest, best friends that I've made in my life are there in Michigan. And I was so happy with the election this last year and what's going on there. And I'm gonna play this song. This is a song for working people. For they just doing some good work for out there now for workers and for being able to organize, which it means something to me. My family is from that. I have belonged to several unions in my life, and I understand people have different opinions on it, but I've never heard a solid argument for why workers shouldn't be able to organize. And so, for those of you out there in Detroit and Michigan, congratulations on fighting for your people out there. So I had to practice this one. It's not one I play very much, but I was thinking about it, and I'm sending it out to all my people who work so hard to change politics out there. From a tax shelter offshore, some kid said my job had been eliminated. He said, thank you for your service and for working so hard. Blah, blah, lie, lie, half truth, blah, blah. He expected me to be petrified, get in the fetal position, start to cry. But I just kept thinking that he was underestimating me. Cause my team is on a winning streak. We haven't lost a game all week. Underestimated people are hard to beat. My team is on a winning streak. Every 2 years, some brand new guy calls a big meeting to tell us why things will get a lot better now that he's in charge. Blah, blah, lie, lie, half truth, blah, blah. And all the working people try not to grin while they're hearing these promises again. Nothing gets better, 2 years go by, and now we're sitting at a meeting with a brand new guy. My team is on a winning streak. We haven't lost a game all week. Underestimated people are hard to beat. My team is on a winning streak. I said, what you did to me just wasn't right. So I hired a lawyer and a plan to fight. He said, you are so adorable. He patted my head and he closed the door. The greatest gift they gave to me was to not take me seriously. Cause everything can happen, it can happen fast, when no one believes you have half a chance. From a tax shelter offshore, some kid said my job had been eliminated. But I just kept thinking that he was underestimating me. My team is on a winning streak. We haven't lost a game all week. Underestimated people are hard to beat. My team is on a winning streak. Something like that. All right.
He's not in win anymore.
All right.
I can't get out of the Zoom.
What's that? Everybody all right? Are we okay, everybody? All right. Sarah, what's going on with you over there? You having some snow and stuff?
Oh my gosh, John, we had like 2 weeks of crazy snow. We had almost 30 inches here.
Oh my word.
For a 2-week period. And then we got what's called the Pineapple Express, which is a very hot, warm rain. And it was an atmospheric river. So we got torrential rain. It washed out our road. Well, it didn't wash it, flooded it. It's still there right now. We'll see how long it lasts, but it's impassable. So we're pretty exhausted over here, but we're okay. Our house is okay. We're in no danger of flooding. We're not in any danger or anything. It's just been exhausting trying to keep up with it, honestly. And I'm sick now too, so I've been home all week because I can't get out, and it's just as well because I'm sick.
So we do some entertainment for you right in your house then
I
today.
know, it's perfect. I'm like, this is the week John's gonna be having his show. It's the perfect time to be here. Yeah, it's
All
been
right.
pretty crazy here. It's been pretty crazy.
Well, I'm
Whole
thinking about
area.
you. I'm glad you're doing okay. We just had 9 inches of snow, but that's pretty normal for us here now. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I haven't shoveled like this since the blizzard of 1978, honestly.
yeah, I don't.
It just kept coming.
I'm too old to shovel. I don't
Me
shovel no
too,
more.
but there was no one else to do it.
Damn. All right. Well, I love you, and I'm glad you're here. And just gonna play some songs and try to hit everybody's what everybody wants. And I really appreciate you all actually. So thanks. So here, this is the newest one. Uh, it's called "The Power of Humble Dreams," and it's for everybody whose dreams are great, but have to do with just wanting to live in a place that's peaceful and stuff like that. And it's about the greatness of the quiet dreams. I've always been sort of fascinated with this, so finally got around to writing about it. She painted her life story in such warm and gentle tones. The dreams that grew in her garden were stronger than this world could ever know. It's all or nothing, that's what they say. The first loser comes in second place, and so it's either go big or else go home. 'Cause all or nothing makes for good TV. You scan 1,000,000 channels and the thing you will never see is a show about humble dreams. She painted her life story in such warm and gentle tones. The dreams that grew in her garden were stronger than this world could ever know. TV only needs the stories of the glory dreams. They say what could be more boring than the story of communities that work together and live in peace. All these quiet people with their unsung little humble dreams are raising conscientious children with humility, who then grow up and build compassionate communities. Someday that might just turn out to be a bigger story than it seems. Na 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 na. One man's dream of glory became so extreme, he bombed all of our cities, and the millions who lived in peace became millions of refugees. Now when the war was over, we began to see how the healing of the world begins in small communities of children raised on humble dreams. She painted her life story in such warm and gentle tones. The dreams that grew in her garden were stronger than this world could ever know. Na 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 na
Beautiful.
Beautiful song.
Woo! Thanks. I'm getting so I can play that one pretty good now. Feeling okay about it. Thank you. So, those of you on other platforms, welcome. That's where Facebook is over there. Hello, Facebook, YouTube. There you are. Those are the people that are really in the witness protection thing going, but we respect your anonymity over there as well. Welcome. Here, this is song I got to play with my son this last weekend. I did 3 shows with my son in the last month or 2, and I haven't played with him in 10 years, and so it was good fun and special. I was born in the city of Lynn, home of the first turbine engine, and as if that wasn't enough, it's also the home of marshmallow fluff. You can travel the whole country, you'll never find a bigger fluff factory. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn just act this way. I don't talk slick like I'm from the Hants. I'm the son of a 30-year GE man. Don't be staring at me that way. I am from Lynn, what can I say? I used to hang around in Barry Park. That's illegal after it gets dark. I would stand on the bleachers where things got smoked and beer got chuggled up, bottles got broke. Later in the evening when the police come, 27 juveniles are on the run. Juveniles are running every way you see, jumping over fences, climbing in trees. But Don is too loaded to get away. His name is in the paper on the very next day. His mother, his father, they can't believe he would publicly humiliate the family. Said, Mom from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. I don't talk slick, that's what I said. I'm not from Swampskin or Marblehead. Don't be staring at me that way. I am from Lynn, what can I say? On the corner of every street, somebody's cooking something greasy to eat. Deep fat is frying everywhere you look. The town is bound for the record books. A million sub shops open all night long. A socio-intestinal phenomenon. Still the best line I ever wrote. Socio-intestinal phenomenon. That's a once-in-a-lifetime line, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn eat this way. There's no room in my stomach for French cuisine. Give me a bag of cheese curls and a submarine. Julia, child, get out of my face. I'm from Lynn. What can I say? I want a steak bone. Extra cholesterol, please. I left Lynn 10 years ago. I did not know where I was gonna go. 10 of my friends were leaning up against a bar and grill. 10 years later, they're leaning there still. Half of my friends who are not on the street are dead, in jail or annoying me. And I'm from Lynn, what can I say? People from Lynn act this way. Don't talk slick, that's what I said. Not from Swampskin or Marblehead. Don't be staring at me that way. I'm from Lynn, what can I say?
Woo! All right, Don. Woo!
Hey, nice one, Don.
Oh, Neil! Wonderful.
Good to
Neil.
see you all.
Let me look at you, buddy.
Hi, Neil.
Neil Braderman, ladies and gentlemen. There he is right there. And Thelia from Kentucky. Hello, darling. How are you? Look at that. Thelia's here. So, Neil, nice to see you. Watch out, there's a criminal up behind you. That's just a private joke for us here on Zoom. So, I'll play this song for Thelia. Thelia, I'll play Psycho Mom for you. Are you ready? Sometimes Thelia, those of us in this part of this thing here, has been known to dance during this song. Well, Mama come home from work today. I tell you what she saw. Every toy that me and my sister owned was laying out on the floor. And the table was covered with peanut butter and half-eaten sandwiches. There was cereal bowls, an open jar of mayo, and an empty can of tuna fish. Dad was eating a pizza, he had 2 or 3 slices gone. Sports page was laying on the living room floor, and the football game was on. When Ma tripped over my toy transformer, that pushed her over the edge. And that's when we knew she was turning into Psycho Mom again. She's screaming, I'm fed up, I'm finished, I'm through. I've had it up to here with all of you, I'm running away. I'm leaving today, I'm gonna join the carnival. First I'm selling you kids for $1 a pound to a couple of cannibals. I used to be normal, used to become picking up after you animals, turn me into Psycho Mom. Ma was working, Dad was babysitting us the other night. Me and my brother started yelling at each other and we got into a fight. But we were punching, kicking, scratching, pinching, pulling each other's hair. Just about the time we knocked the TV over, we saw Dad standing there. His blood was bubbling, he didn't say nothing, he stood there out the door. Me and my brother took a look at each other and we looked up from the floor. And Dad started to scream like a wild banshee and started pulling out his own hair. And that's when we knew he was psycho too, and we better get out of there. He's screaming, I'm fed up, I'm finished, I'm through. I've had it up to here with all of you, I'm running away. I'm leaving today, I'm gonna join the carnival. First I'm selling you kids for $1 a pound to a couple of cannibals. I used to be normal, never got mad. Babysitting you animals, turn me into Psycho Dad. For an hour our mother and our father were trying to keep us in bed. Me and my sister never ever missed a chance to play with their heads. But we were using every excuse in the book to try to keep from going to sleep. She said, I'm thirsty, I said, I gotta pee. She said, I forgot to brush my teeth. We just got done with that classic one, Upon This Fateful Night, where you say it's too dark, and they turn on the light, and you cry, cause the light's too bright. And my light bugged out and Dad's head exploded and they both climbed up the wall. You should thank the Lord that you were not born to Psycho Dad and Mom. They're screaming, we're fed up, we're through. We've had it up to here with all of you, we're running away. We're leaving today, we're gonna join the carnival. First selling you kids for a penny a pound to anybody that will take you. We used to be normal. You remember, don't you, dear? It was 1974. We were hitchhiking around America trying to find ourselves. Yeah. And we did find ourselves impoverished. And we never got mad. Raising you animals turned us into Psycho Mom and Dad. For Thelia from Kentucky.
Woo! All right, John, thank you.
All right, John.
Oh, good to see you. Good to see everybody. So, I'm gonna dig one out that I haven't played for a while. This actually is my wife's favorite song of mine, which takes a lot to get her to admit that she likes anything of mine because she doesn't want to hand me anything to make me. She won't give me any ammunition, in our lifestyle here. But I wrote this one quite a long time ago, and a woman from Michigan actually did calligraphy, and she wrote all the lyrics out, and with some beautiful artwork, and it's one of the things that I have hanging in my house. Right behind me, right there, that is a painting that Thelia, who's a young person from Kentucky, drew and handed to me when I was in Kentucky at the Storytelling Festival. And so those are my two things handed to me from created by from my friends out there in the world. So this one is called The Painter. In this portrait of sadness in the big gallery, there is a man in the foreground in such misery, but the horizon behind him is vibrant and bright. We see him staring into darkness, but covered in light. If I were the painter, I would paint you with wings, and I would dress you in the colors that come in the spring. And when your heart was in darkness and you were alone, I would paint sunshine around you and wings to carry you home. In this portrait of anger and low self-esteem, we see a woman in danger of a life without dreams. And as I stare at her shoulders, Lord, all I can see is this mountain of a burden where wings ought to be. If I were the painter, I would paint you with wings, and I would dress you in the colors that come in the spring. And when your heart was in darkness and you were alone, I'd paint sunshine around you and wings to carry you home. This face in the mirror, this portrait of me, is constantly changing for the whole world to see. But the hand on the brushes that color this face is the hand that belongs to the person it paints. If I am the painter, I will paint me with wings, and I will dress me in the colors that come in the spring. And when my heart is in darkness and I am alone, I will paint sunshine around me and wings to carry me home. I will paint sunshine around me, and wings to carry me home.
Beautiful, Don. Woo!
Don.
Oh, Don.
See why it's your wife's favorite.
Good taste, not in men,
Sure.
of course, but in songs. All right, I'm looking at some requests here. Thank you. I'll try to get to all of these. I'm very grateful. I was telling Libby, who was on here earlier, that I'm just kind of in a bubble of gratitude these days. I know how lucky I am. I know we're healthy. That's the most important thing. We're living in a nice place. Somehow, without me knowing it, I wound up not having to worry too much about money. I still have to worry about it a little bit, you know. I'm on a fixed income, but I don't have to work 3 jobs to stay alive anymore, which is what I had to do most of my life. My kids are healthy, and I just, for me not to be grateful and to be complaining would say more about me than it would about my problems, I think. Tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, so I thought I'd read something about being Irish. So those of you that are new to the Zoom part of this, one of the things that Brandon is your trusty technician making the magic happen behind the scenes here. He's perhaps the most in demand live stream technician that I know of in the whole country. Everybody wants him, and we're grateful to him for being here. So during COVID, my big issue with this was that, especially when I'm doing comedy or telling stories or reading something, it was so unsatisfying for me to not hear anybody laugh or applaud or anything. So we figured out how to get people to unmute if they're in a quiet place or if their computer isn't real echoey, and so I'd like you to do that now, those of you that are here that are in a quiet place. And don't worry about it if it's all of a sudden there's a little disturbance. Brandon will monitor it, so he'll shut you off if you're too echoey or you're disturbing the show. But go ahead, everybody. Like, I'm watching you, so I see that you're none of you doing it. So there you go. That's monitor it, so he'll shut you off if you're too echoey or you're disturbing the show. But there's one we need to take care of right there. But the rest of you guys, thank you. And so I'm going to read something about being Irish. Brandon, find that one.
Sorry about that, Don. We got a lot today.
We got a lot of echo today, but that's okay. We still have some. I don't need to hear everybody. I just need to hear enough to make me feel like I'm not talking to a screen. Makes me feel like I need to hear enough to make me feel like I'm not. All right. How are we doing now, Brandon? We good? It sounds good. So if you hear anything in here that makes you laugh, don't hold back. It makes me feel like I'm not just talking to a screen, like an insane bunker in my basement. Right? That's a sign of having a mental health crisis, isn't it? To be laughing to yourself in your bunker in your basement, looking at a screen.
Yeah.
So my dad is Irish and my mother is Greek, and it's a weird combination. We call it Gyrish, in case you were wondering. And there's a lot of Greeks and Irish people in Lynn, where I grew up in my parents' day, which would have been the 50s. But none of them could overcome the obstacles to get married. Many of them wanted to, but it was, the two churches didn't like it and the two families didn't like it. But my mother and father, they have a whole mess of you can all go to hell in their bloodstream, which is the same blood that runs through me. So just in case you're wondering. But the two cultures are really different. And so I wrote about this in my first book. This is my first book. I wrote it, I think, 15 years ago. It's called Memoirs of a Sea Student. My new book is called The Hitchhiking Years. Both of these are available at donwhite.net for those of you that read. But anyway, since it's St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, let's talk about what it's like to be Greek and Irish. On Christmas Day, we would visit both sides of the family. The Greeks all lived in a 3-story tenement with the grandparents on the first floor and the aunts and uncles on the second and third. As kids, we would spend the day running up and down the stairs. Every door you opened revealed an apartment full of olive-skinned relatives who loved you. They loved you in a Mediterranean way. What does that mean? It means they fed you and they hugged you. Greeks hug. They pinch you on the cheek. They force food on you until you are ill, and they squeeze you until you are gasping for air. Another noteworthy thing about these people is that there are precious few situations imaginable to them where being loud would be considered inappropriate. We would leave there in the late afternoon and spend the rest of the day with the Irish half of the family. It all seemed perfectly normal back then, but in retrospect, it was like going to another planet. The first obvious difference we encountered at the Irish house: no touching. Do not touch Irish people unless you are punching them.
Oh, God.
When we would arrive, my aunts and uncles would begrudgingly give us what I like to call the Irish hug. An Irish hug is when they put their arms around you as if they are being forced to do so at gunpoint. 1/4 of 1 second into this reluctant embrace, they begin to tap you on the back. Okay? Back tapping is the key ingredient of the Irish hug. It's actually a message being tapped out in Morse code. This is the translation. This is the translation. I hate this. Please let me go. Money. Let's go have a drink. The second obvious difference is that the Irish house provides safe harbor to an extremely sophisticated sense of humor. The complexities of the Irish sense of humor deserve an entire book of research. The Irish are born with a huge genetic advantage in the field of humor and storytelling. When an Irish person is weaving a tale, the listener is always engaged. The listener may actually be aware of the fact that what he or she is hearing is 80% blarney, but it is still captivating. This is a tremendous gift to give to the world. It also lends itself nicely to a career in politics. It has always seemed to me that God overcompensated the Irish with wit and humor to make up for their abysmal ineptitude in cooking. If you are going to curse an entire nation to a lifetime of dinners boiled beyond recognition, you really do owe them something big in return. I wrote 15 years ago and I'm cracking myself up. I am losing it here. I have a friend named Katie here in Massachusetts, not my Michigan Katie, but she's Irish, my friend Katie here. And she told me one time that an Irish woman knows when her meat is done, when it turns gray.
Oh, yeah.
I know that Libby is boiling something over there, so when it turns gray, Libby, then it's done. Just want to let you know about that. All right. All right, the third difference is volume. These are not loud people like the Greeks. My Irish family is not loud. The Greeks are loud and the Irish people are not. So several years ago, I was installing an alarm system in a house full of Italians. So I'm not sure everybody knows that about me, but for 20 years, that's what I did. I installed security systems in people's houses, mostly because I'm from Lynn, Massachusetts. I was just trying to keep fence out of other people's houses, basically. It was like a public service. But anyway, several years ago, I was installing an alarm system in a house full of Italians. The grandfather could not speak one syllable of English. He used hand signals to beckon me over to a room, to a door, a locked door in the end of the basement, which opened to a room where he was making wine. We had a few glasses. It was very strong. After a couple of glasses, we had miraculously bridged our language barrier. I pointed to a covering that was on a heat pipe that was running across the ceiling. I said, "This is asbestos." and he raised his glass, and he said, "Asbestos!" And I raised my glass and I said, "Asbestos, this will kill you!" And he said, "Asbestos, kill you!" And then we had some more wine.
Oh, God.
And later that day, I heard people yelling upstairs. The whole family was screaming at the top of their lungs. I was accustomed to hearing women yell. My mother yells all the time. My mother will yell about anything. It's one of her daily activities. Often, she's not even angry. She just comes from a family and a culture that believes that the loudest person wins. My dad, on the other hand, the Irish guy, never yells when he gets angry. And all you Irish people on all these platforms, you have to acknowledge this. You know I'm telling the truth here. He never gets angry when he never yells when he gets angry. Instead, he seethes. He seethes. So as a child, my experience with the sound of a man raising his voice was that he had been seething over something for a week, and this was the sound you heard when his head finally exploded. And what followed that was trouble. Great, big, very real trouble. So I am running wires over asbestos-covered pipes in the Italian basement for an alarm system to protect the illegal winery. When all of a sudden, the whole family upstairs starts screaming and yelling. They were so loud you could hear them a block away. I fully expect to hear gunfire. I consider climbing out a window and leaving my tools behind and trying to escape with my life, but instead, I climb to the top of the basement stairs, expecting to see blood and battered bodies. I peek around into the kitchen and I see all 10 of them, and they're sitting around a table, passing around pastry. Passing around pastry and screaming at each other. For a moment, it was all so surreal to me that I thought the old man might have given me some psychedelic wine. No wonder he needed an alarm system. And I watched for a while and finally realized that Italians are like Greeks, only louder. They can scream at you, feed you, call you an idiot, and love you all at the same time. It is amazing to witness. It is so not Irish. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play another song. We'll take a little break. I'll come back and play to about 8:30. At that point, I have some. If anybody wants to read a poem or tell a story, you're welcome to do that. We'll shut the stream off and we'll hang out here. I don't expect to do another one of these until next winter. Unless there's some reason I can't tour or gig. I'd like to, if you want to hang out and just chat, talk, sing, whatever, we'll just leave it open at the end. This is free, and I want it to be free. If you don't have money, I love you. Don't worry. I've spent most of my life without any money, but we are on a fixed income here, and so I need to pay Brandon, and I need to buy groceries. So during this little break, there'll be a screen up here, and it'll have Venmo and PayPal. If you can throw a few bucks my way, I'll think about you when I'm at the grocery store tomorrow, probably. Those of you that are fearful or of Venmo and PayPal, or can't figure it out or don't want to use it, send me an email. There's my email address is there, and I'll send you my mailing address, and you can take out your fountain pen and dip it in the ink, and write me a letter, my dearest Abigail, like they did, like John Quincy Adams did, and that works for me too. So I'm going to play this request, which is for Coop, who's on YouTube. Coop, thanks for watching on YouTube. And this is called The Second Chance Crew. And this is a song I just got invited to play at a Sober Festival. Again, it's probably my 25th year at this one. It's called the Half Moon Sober Festival. It's in New Hampshire. If you know anybody that's in sobriety, that's in recovery, you want to send them to that. That's a Memorial Day weekend in New Hampshire. The information is easy to find. It's called the Half Moon. And this is a song that I wrote for all my friends. Not that it matters, but I quit drinking in 1990, and I've been sober and causing trouble ever since. How about that? All right. Wrong way. My dad said, son, if you keep going on this way, bad report card, real bad report card, you're gonna wind up as a lumper on a cruise someday. I said, Dad, what's a lumper? I was laughing so hard, rolling on the floor. Dad, no one uses words like a lumper anymore. The guys are outside. It's Friday night. I gotta go. See you later, and thanks for the lecture. If you keep doing the things that you are doing, if these things that you are doing don't do you in, they can always use another lumper on the second chance crew. Me, Billy, Bob, Rick, and Ray, those are my drinking buddies living for the party Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Don't forget Sunday. One by one they moved away from home. The time went by, the next thing I know, I'm 31, I'm drinking with a bunch of 19-year-olds. What a loser, man, what a loser. If you keep doing the things that you are doing, if these things that you are doing don't do you in, they can always use another lumper on the second chance crew. Second chance people got a touch of gray, partied their teens and their 20s away, but now they're sober, starting over, and they're 32. They're just so glad to be working on the second chance crew. Those pallets aren't gonna move themselves, lumper. You shouldn't have skipped so much school in your day. Wound up in the program, I know that's no surprise. I make the minimum wage, but at least I didn't die. My knees are aching and my back is sore. I've been dragging these ladders across a plywood floor. And Dad, I never wonder what a lumper is anymore. You want to know why? 'Cause I'm a lumper. If you keep doing the things that you are doing, if these things that you are doing don't do you in, they can always use another lumper on the second chance crew. Smoke it and drink it and puff it up your nose while your education goes up in smoke. And when you're in your 30s and the party is through, we're saving you a seat at the meeting and a job lumping on the crew. A seat at the meeting, 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 a seat at the meeting and a job lumping on the crew. That's what's waiting for you. A seat at the meeting and a job lumping on the crew.
Awesome. Thanks, Don. Woohoo!
You're welcome. All right, so you guys all chat with each other, hang out, and I'll be back in 5 minutes or so. And again, if you can drop a few bucks my way, I'll be thinking about you while I'm buying groceries. All right. Alright, doesn't look like we lost too many people. That's always good. Thanks everyone who donated. I was just over there looking on Facebook. So many people over there. Marilyn Ray Byer stopped in. Nice to see you. Nice to hear from you, Marilyn. I hope I get to see you sometime soon. At the end, you know, Marilyn, if you're still there, we pop over here and read us something, or you know, let me look at you. And there's lots of folks over there who came to see me in Marblehead and at the Bull Run, so thank you to all of you guys for all of that. Let me play a couple songs here and she walked into the room like she was walking off a cliff. In my mind I said, what kind of shattered angel is this? Her walk said, I've surrendered. In her face, I've had enough. Her eyes were holes, they were dark and cold. They said, I've given up. Saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. You know, life rains down so hard upon some people that we know. It tears their faith and their hope away, and they walk around like ghosts. We see them and they are breaking, and as their spirit dies, but deep inside we still believe they will come alive and fly. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Now she walks across the room like she could walk across the sky. And though the old dark eyes are so alive, they set the room on fire. This is no shattered angel. I said myself. I feel Zuzu's petals. I hear one small bell. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. I saw an angel in pieces, as if the pieces all fell from the sky. I said in my heart, I believe this sad angel someday will fly. Look how beautiful you are.
Beautiful, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Woohoo!
Great.
They were not just statistics, our children had names. Don't say they were junkies, and they all are the same, 'cause they each had potential to do something great, until heroin stole that potential away. And now we are the loved ones that they left behind, and we keep the memories of them alive, and we speak the words that they want to say to all of you who are still using today. In the name of our daughters, in the name of our sons, in the name of all the beautiful lost ones we love, behind all your sorrow, behind your despair, we see only the light that's still shining in there. Each morning at the moment I open my eyes, and the weight of my loss crashes down on my life. I remember the night that my son came to me and spoke comforting words to me in a dream. He said, don't give up on those with sad, broken lives. Tell them you still see the light in their eyes, and offer them help and hope every day, and I will be there beside you each step of the way. In the name of our daughters, in the name of our sons, please take this help so you might be the one who gets clean and comes back here with all that it takes to help us. Save these broken angels in this place. We can save these broken angels. Save these broken angels. Save these broken angels for the loved ones of the lost one. for the loved ones of the lost ones, for the loved ones of the lost ones, for the loved ones of the lost ones, for the loved ones of the lost ones.
Beautiful, Dawn. Thank you.
Very nice.
This is
All
beautiful.
right, the worst comedy show in the history of the internet, ladies and gentlemen. You are at it right now. All right, let me make sure. Somebody asked for Charlie and Maureen. Michael asked for that. I'd have to go practice that, honestly.
Okay.
You know what? Next time, if you come to another show and then
Oh, I will.
let me know ahead of time, and I'll brush up on that one.
Awesome, because that's an awesome song.
It is, you know, it's got some issues with political correctness now, but that's a good reason to.
That's the best part of it.
That's the best part. Of it.
I agree with Michael.
Great tone.
You know, I can't. I'll get lost in the middle of it. I don't want to do that, but all right, I'll resurrect that one for then. You know, for when I see you next time, because you're local. All right. I've got $300 bills that are all brand new. They are begging me to think of something cool to do. How about I'll take you downtown, spend them all on you. I don't want to stay home tonight. We have worked so hard for so many years, built a home, a life, a family, and 2 careers. Saved our money for the future, now the future is here. I don't want to stay home tonight. Can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I can't. I need you and me, how it used to be. Every week on Friday night, there is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home again tonight. Me and Michael, Johnny, Richard, Ruthie, and Joan all had bouts with cancer last year, you know. If cancer was a man, I would punch him in the throat. I don't want to stay home tonight. 'Cause time isn't sentimental, it doesn't seem to care about your plans or your hopes and dreams. It just keeps track of your minutes and wipes the slate clean. I don't want to stay home tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I can't. I need you and me, how it used to be. Every week on Friday night, there is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home again tonight. Well, no, we can't party like we did before. Can't stay up till 4 in the morning no more. But the house is paid off and the kids are all grown. What the hell have we been working for? Let's take a nap, take our inhalers, take a multivitamin, and then go out to hear some music with all of our friends who didn't die from the way we used to party back then. I don't want to stay home tonight, 'cause time isn't sentimental, it doesn't seem to care about your plans or your hopes and dreams. It just keeps track of your minutes and wipes the slate clean. I don't want to stay home tonight. Can't stay home again tonight. I I can't stay home again tonight. I can't stay home, can't stay home. I need you and me. How it used to be every week on Friday night. There is so much history that only we can see. Can't stay home, can't stay home. I can't stay home again tonight. All right.
Woo! All right, John.
All right. So I'm gonna read this thing and play the song that Kevin and Sarah like. So this is the part of the show that has virtually no substance at all, ladies and gentlemen.
Not true.
There's no depth, no substance, no deep meaning. This is just a funny story. So this is my book I wrote during COVID. It's called The Hitchhiking Years. That's a picture of my wife and I before we were married. We were hitchhiking in Texas at that time. And I was 17 years old in that picture. We hitchhiked for 3 years and whatever. So this is about when we were in Washington State and picking fruit. This chapter is called Boy Dogs, and then I'll sing the song. This will be more on this subject than anybody really should be subjected to between the story and the song, but it's the last show. We're going out, we're pulling out all the stops here, we're doing everything we shouldn't do. Hello, let's see, let me just say hello to everybody here. I see Paul. Hi Paul, how you doing? Nice to see you, buddy. And Athelia, this is really not a kid story, but that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, Steven. Nice to see you, everybody. All right. So, and all my friends on the other platforms, here we go. This is from my book, Hitchhiking Story. Here we go. Boy Dogs. Years ago, being a conscientious pet owner, I had my male dog neutered. On the ride home, I could not bring myself to look at him. So everybody like unmute so I can hear you here during this. And like not if you're in like the echo chamber or whatever. But if you're in a relatively quiet place, we'd like this part to be interactive. Okay? And remember that any sound that you make is as loud as me, which is one of the downfalls of Zoom with things we have to navigate around. So, but we can navigate this. We have good man behind the scenes, and I also know to stop and everything if I hear. All right, so here we go. Years ago, being a conscientious pet owner, I had my male dog neutered. On the ride home, I could not bring myself to look at him. No dissertations on the long-term benefits of neutering were going to alter his understanding of and his feeling about what had just happened. I knew what he was thinking. Look me in the eye, you bastard. You Claudius. You Iago. A plague upon your house, you most treacherous villain. When you were drunk and lying on the floor and no one in the family was talking to you, who showed you unconditional love? And this is how you repay my loyalty? I keep going down to lick my junk, and guess what? No junk! Where is my junk? Today, an unleashed, unneutered dog on the street would show up on your Facebook feed under the title, Photo of Unleashed Dog with Testicles Goes Viral. In the 70s, they were everywhere. All the fruit tramps, which is what we were pickers, our fruit pickers were affectionately called at the time, we all had dogs, and Elijah was the only female, and she chose this extraordinarily inopportune time to go into her first heat. The word spread quickly among the dogs in the orchard that Elijah was in the market for a suitor. I looked down from the top of the ladder and saw a motley, fully testicled assemblage of wannabe canine fathers encircling our dog, who was leashed to the base of a pear tree. Since none of these unprincipled indigents bothered to show me the courtesy of asking my permission for her hand, I considered them all unworthy of even the slightest consideration. Everything you will ever need to know about the boundless, unrestrainable power of libido. can be seen in the crazed eyes of a pack of unneutered male dogs who have picked up the scent of an ovulating female. There is just no reasoning with them. No amount of pleading or explaining about the future ramifications of their actions. No questions about who is going to support these puppies. No barricades, no yelling of obscenities, and no number of pears bounced off their noggins will divert their laser-focused attention from the job at hand. That evening, our shack was besieged by a horde of incurably infatuated boy dogs. They encircled our humble dwelling and subjected us to a chorus of lovesick whining and howling and the occasional reciting of a sonnet. I may have dreamed that last part. In the morning, we implemented the plan we had devised while under siege. We took a pair of my underwear, briefs, not boxers, put them over Elijah's 2 rear legs, and slid her tail through the tiny pee hole that no one ever uses. That final maneuver kept the underwear from falling down. It looked like a diaper, but it was actually an inspired piece of improvisational contraceptive ingenuity. The next day, our corner of the orchard was transformed into a surrealist dreamscape that featured all manner of male dog wooing techniques and canine pugilism. Several of Elijah's potential beaux engaged in what to me seemed like a fantastical display of bipedal animated cartoon fisticuffs that day. Periodically, a victorious alpha male would approach the object of his desire to collect his hard-won reward, only to be denied the ultimate satisfaction by Elijah's low-budget, homemade chastity belt. We were pleased. Elijah was not. I don't think that she ever completely forgave us. Let me tell you about the fall of '79. We were running out of money, we were running out of time, and we wound up picking pears way over in Washington. For 8 months before that, we were hitching down the road with a dog named Elijah. 1 year old, had that dog ever since she was a little pup. Now our baby was growing up. What got into Elijah, I just can't say. I guess she started reaching the curious age, and she had this aroma she was sending all over the land. And in every backyard for 4 or 5 miles, every male dog was howling and going so wild. They were driving their owners crazy, but they didn't care. Dog love was in the air. Jumping out of windows, breaking off chains. Poodles, cockchangers, German shepherds, Great Danes. They were raunchy, rabid, ugly, mangy, mean. They were trying to find the orchard queen. I was in a tree, Elijah was right down beneath me. To my surprise, I saw 25 male dogs closing in on her. And so I picked me a pear and I threw it on down, and I hit a cocker spaniel. I knocked him to the ground. He got up quick, he was dazed, but he wasn't deterred. And so I threw down another and I hit him on the head, and he went down hard. I thought he was dead, but he still went for Elijah after taking 2 direct hits. The little sucker was passionate. We jumped from the tree. We jumped from the tree and we ran to the shack, pursued by a horny, crazed wild dog pack. And our dog Elijah fought us every inch of the way. And when we got to the shack, we were both in shock, and we felt like we were in a movie by Hitchcock. We looked at each other and we didn't know what to say. How could our little girl act this way? You know, you try to bring them over right, you feed them Alpo and keep them tied at night. You try to teach them morals and teach them about society. Now one day they're a sweet innocent child, the next day you know they're out running so wild. Elijah, I never thought you would turn out to be the picture of promiscuity. The next morning I took a pair of my BVD underwear and I put them on Elijah and I put her tail through the little hole. And I let her run free in the orchard that day. And every male dog in Washington state took a try at Elijah, but the only thing they felt was a low-budget chastity belt. Fought and rumbled and they brawled all night. They were killing one another till the morning light. They were fighting to the death for the greatest prize anyway. And when it all was finished, when it all was done, the Doberman Pinscher was the champion. He was wounded, but he looked so triumphant standing there with Elijah's underwear. He won him fair and square. They were tore to shreds, he didn't care. Standing there. There you go.
Woo!
Oh,
Nice
God.
job.
Awesome.
Oh, that's the best.
It's kind of a spiritual number, really.
Hey, you can't have healthy spirituality without laughter.
All right. So I want
So
to,
the epic of your career, Dad.
you know, I pinnacled, you know, many years ago. I just been sliding downhill ever since.
I didn't say that, but it's the epic of your career.
Uh,
That doesn't mean it's the pinnacle, just the epic.
yeah. So I'm going to first of all just thank you all. So a lot of people that are with me on these live streams, and they were with me every Thursday through in the entirety of COVID, pretty close to 3 years. I don't know how many shows, but lots of them, and it helped me pay my bills. It also built a community of people that we've gotten together. Some of us, you know, like from different parts of the country to have dinner and a bunch of friends and all that, and it's meant a lot to me. It really has. I don't take it for granted. I'm grateful to you, and thanks. So I am not going to do any more of these, but let me just put this out there. I have done a lot of them privately. Like gather your friends together. You know what I mean? If you're someplace that I'm not going to get to, like California, probably not, and you know, like that. If you want to just have your friends, you know, we'll figure something out, and I'll come and do it just for you. I'm happy to do that. But I miss you and I love you, and I'm grateful to you for the support. You know, when I first played after 3 years of not playing, almost 3 years, I wasn't sure I could play my guitar standing up. Playing sitting down for 3 years. So I'll end with this other song here. We'll take just a short break. Again, you know, if you could throw a few bucks my way, those of you that have already, appreciate it. And then anybody that's here in the Zoom part of this thing, if you want to tell a story or read a poem or just chat, anything like that, I think one of my friends is going to pop by and play a song. And Tim Mason, if he's still here, he might do it. I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll sort of we'll end with this. And those of you on the other platforms, if you want to come and join us, the information is in your chats, and we'll do a little after party. Okay. So this song I wrote in 1990. Okay. So let me just. It's been with me so long. I don't know how to talk about it anymore. It's done more for me than any other song. People have flown me around the country to play it at funerals and weddings. Like what? Like that's a pretty good song that can bridge that gap, I think. Or it's a unique song that can do that. But it's happened. One time I got a call from somebody, and she said, "I want you to play at my funeral. I'm like, where are you calling me from? Cell phones are kind of a mystery. Maybe they work from the other side. I don't know. When I wrote, it's long. Too many verses in it. It's a cappella. It's everything you shouldn't do in a song, I think. The chorus and the verses are the same. It drones a little bit. It's got everything that the record company would tell you to not do in a song. But it's brought more people into my world and got me more airplay and more friends. And it's a really serious, and it kind of wraps up with God too, right? So some people only know that song, and then they come to my concert and they're like, "Wait a minute." I don't know if they expected a whole night of "I Know What Love Is" and whatever. But after I'm done with Elijah, they're very confused.
They shouldn't be, you spell it out.
See?
I can't tell you how many amazing stories I've had. People told me when they were sick in the hospital that it helped them. One of my favorite stories is, so the song in the beginning of it says, there's a little girl with pretty curls and she's waiting by the gate for her dad to come home. And this woman told me this story, that it was this little girl and her dad's favorite song. He would sing her to sleep with it. And she asked the mother one day before the dad came home from work, she said, "Where's our gate?" And the mother said, "We live in the suburbs. There's no gates here." The gates are kind of a Lynn thing. So the little girl went over and got the gate that you keep the dog out of the living room with, that one, the little wooden one that you put in the doorway, and she got her mother to put it up by the door. And when the dad came home, she sang, "There's a little girl standing by the dog gate waiting for her dad to come home."
Oh.
It's just I don't know. The other thing I can say about it is when I go to write, I write differently than most other people that I know. I know what I want to say usually. Like I learned something, and then I figured it out and thought about it, and then I want to write about it after I know it. I don't go searching for ideas. I usually have the idea, and then I'm just trying to figure out how to get it in a song. This one was the opposite of that. It just came, and I thought it was done. Because it was so long, I thought it was done when the people were in their 60s. That's plenty for a song, really. And I was driving to a job in Springfield, Mass, which is about a 2-hour drive from here. I was installing an alarm out there, and the last verse that ties it together, came to me. And man, like I knew that I was never gonna write another song like this. I just knew it. This is like I pulled a car over, I was crying. I thought like the cops would think I was like an escaped patient, like who like had a breakdown, and not just a physical. Not his car isn't the only thing broke down on the side of the road here. He's having a breakdown in the car, right? So I'm gonna sing it, and then we'll take a little break. If anybody's here after, you want to hang and just talk. Anybody wants to come over for the other platforms. Thank you to everyone. Let's take a minute and thank Brandon for all the years of doing this and designing this.
Hey, Brandon, thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon. You make it possible for us to have fun.
Honestly, he's the technical side of it, but him and I invented this, like this idea of it being interactive and being so that it's not cold, and he invented a lot of the tech that goes on behind the scenes, which is, if he tried to explain it to you, it would take forever. So thank you. And I can sing this with conviction as if I had just written it still. I just think about how I felt when I wrote it, and I think about now, my mom and my daughter and all the women in my life. So There is a little girl with pretty curls, she's about 5 years old, and she is waiting at the gate for her dad to come home. When he pulls around the corner in his shiny white car, she feels the magic light up in her heart. And he picks her up and he holds her. He says he missed her. He's glad that she is here. As the child lays her head on his shoulder, she whispers these words in his ear. Daddy, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now she is 20 and there's plenty of love everywhere. She's getting married, so her family and her friends are all there. They've gathered this morning to stand at her side as she waves goodbye to this time in her life. And they each take a moment to hold her and to tell her what she means to them. In a world that seems to keep getting colder, she has been blessed with a warm family and friends. She says, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now they are older and no one told her it got crazy like this. They're going to night school, they're working jobs too. They're raising 3 kids. The youngest one is crying with a bruise on her knee. She needs attention and she needs sympathy. And when she picks her up and she holds her, that old magic lights up in her heart. And as the child lays her head on her shoulder, she knows exactly why they're working so hard. Little girl, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. Now they are 60 and their history spans 40 odd years. They have buried their parents. Now their grandkids are here. There's something about the way they look in each other's eyes that speaks softly about the meaning of a life. And when he puts his arm out to hold her, it feels so familiar and warm. She thinks love is an expanding endeavor till your last breath from the moment you're born. Now she is 80 and she hates being in this nursing home. Her man's been gone now for a long while, and she feels so alone. She closes her eyes and she begins to pray that a little comfort might just come her way. And God lifts her up and he holds her. and she remembers this feeling she has. She is not a woman whose life is almost over. She's a little girl being held by her dad. And God, I know exactly what love is. Love is real simple and true. Love is this feeling my heart gets when I'm being held close by you. And God, love is real simple. Love is real simple. Love is real simple and true.
Perfection, Don. Perfection.
Oh, it's so beautiful, Don. Thank you so much. Perfect.
How was the comedy show? It was the worst comedy show I've ever.
No, it's all how you sell it, Don. It was so good. It made me cry. I laughed so hard I was crying.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thank
All how
you.
you market it.
Listen, thank you not just for coming tonight, but for the support through the years, for people who bought my books and my CDs and all that stuff. I just can't tell you how grateful I am. I am an unlikely success. No, I'm not. People who come up the way I came up, they don't get to do this. So thank you. I'll come back to the, Brandon, let the stream go for a minute or so, until I come back, and then we'll see who's here, and then we'll have a little after party here on Zoom.
Don, just remember, every clam has a pearl.
Every clam
So it's in you, man.
Every clam does not have a pearl. I had fried clams today, no pearls. Okay, just so you know. All right, I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
The oyster.
All right, can you hear me? Just wave your hands around. All
Yeah.
right, there you go. All right, so Brandon, if you don't mind, let the live stream go for a minute or two. But when we get so that it's just people who aren't performers that are just talking, then we'll just make that on Zoom. Is that okay with you, buddy?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So my friend Steve Burke is here. Steve Burke is he's a good friend of mine. He's from Lynn. So Steve, let me see you. There he is. Let's check your sound a little bit.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you know how to get it on the musicians thing and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
How's that? That all right?
Can you turn your volume up a little bit?
Check 1 2. Check 1
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Check 1 2.
Okay. So Steve is a kid from Lynn. Kid, he's he's a full grown man from Lynn. He's a good friend of mine, and he's very thoughtful and an interesting guy. He lives in New York City. Moved from Lynn to New York City. I think by trade, is a bass player. That's his first love, right, Steve?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. But he's been influenced by folk singers and poets, so his career is in turmoil. I would and he I just love him a lot. I just had lunch with him recently, and so I asked him if he'd come and play a song for us here. Are you gonna play something that you wrote, or what are you gonna do, Steve?
Yeah, I'll do a short song that I wrote for my grandfather, who was born on St. Patrick's Day, passed away a few years ago, and I wrote this when I was home for his funeral. It's an instrumental. It's called "In Memory of Joe." So I'll start whenever you want me to.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, that's beautiful, Steve. Thank you. Woo!
Wow. Another Lynn guy doing good right there.
Ah, nice.
That was beautiful. Just the kind of haunting, really. Nice.
Yeah, I love the melody on that.
Yeah, really good. So, hang around a little bit and maybe toward the backside of this, we can play another tune for us. But does anybody else want to do something, read a poem or anything like that? Like this is live streaming, so if you have something you want to say later when it's just us, that's okay. But anybody else? All right. Let me get Paul. Paul are you with Walter where you are? Paul.
No, I'm not at home.
Oh, you're at home. So I want to talk about. See, like, move your head a little bit. All right. So Wise House. If you want to find me between 8 and 10 in the morning, that's where I am. It's in Amesbury, Massachusetts. I'm gonna give like an advertisement for this thing. Wise House is the coolest coffee house I've ever seen in my life. It's the kind of place where somebody like, I describe it this way, like it's the kind of place where someone would have picked us up and brought us there, who owned it, and we would have slept on the floor. Like it's that kind of place. Like it's owned by Paul's brother Walter. The coffee is amazing, but it's not big enough for people to have private conversations. Like often the conversations are with everybody. Like everybody is conversing together. It's a small, narrow place. It's on Friend Street in Amesbury. It's only open in the morning, but I'm gonna recommend it highly. It's where it's like my focal point now. It's where I'm learning about my community, where I'm meeting other musicians, and Paul's in a band called Born Cursed. It's a metal band. They're going on to do a tour here pretty soon down to New York, and so I'm meeting all kinds of musicians around here. But Wise House, if you're ever near Amesbury, Massachusetts, in the morning, that's where you want to be. That's where the cool stuff's happening. How's that, Paul? How'd I do?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, not bad, right? All right. So, Brandon, I think you can shut the stream off now. Before we go to the folks on Facebook and YouTube, you're welcome to come over here. We'll probably be here another half an hour, 20 minutes, something like that, just chatting. But at any time, if you come over to the Zoom show, we'll let you in, and your information is in your respective chats. So let's say goodbye to Zoom, to Facebook and YouTube. Goodbye, you guys. See you later. Let me know when